All right.
And I believe the card.
Okay.
I ended up complications of bleeding, excessive bleeding, and from there came back when I could. They said I think in pamphlet 4 to 6 weeks or something like that, don't eat stuff like that. So I came back in.
All right. So, what did you have to be in the hospital at any length of time for the surgery?
No, that's outpatient.
Okay. So this is supposed to be a no-problem operation.
Right. I had to go back to it.
All right. So when you learned that the surgery was going to be postponed from July to August, did you have any contact with Principal Bennett?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
Just contacted and told me to move, and this is the situation.
All right. Did you tell him how long you anticipated being away from school at that time? Did you have any knowledge how long you would be away? So after you had your surgery, then you had complications with bleeding. And how long did that last?
It lasted quite some time. I cannot tell you just right off the top of my head.
Did it last through August?
Not all through August.
Okay, all righty. So when it continued, did you contact him before school started again?
Yes, I always contacted him.
All right. And when you knew you were about to miss?
Yes.
So for the in-service week, did you notify him before that week began that you would miss?
Yes.
And what did he say?
Okay, get well or something, I don't know again.
Okay. And what about the week that would have been the first week of school? Did you notify him? When did you notify him?
I would notify him normally somewhere around 6:30 in the morning of the day that I had to miss.
Okay, but the first week of school, did you know how long you were going to be out? So your health was a day-to-day thing then at that time. All right. At any time did he say, well, look, why don't you just plan to take a few days off and get this thing over with? Okay. Did he ever say, hey, are you going to be out 3 or 4 days?
He may have asked me something along those lines sometime.
All right.
Stay here.
Okay. Did he ever tell you at any point in time during those first 2 weeks that this was a problem? So you said you went back to school earlier than you were supposed to stay out from your surgery. And so if we look at Mr. Trammell's sick leave days in the document there under tab 14, you had your surgery, if we look at page 3, you had your surgery, did you say August the 2nd?
4th of the week was.
All right, and so you were really supposed to be off 6 weeks, right?
With no gym.
All right, but you actually went back to work, it looks like, for this thing. You were out through August 19th. And then you went back to work after that, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So you actually went back to work earlier than the doctor wanted you to. All right. Now, I noticed that before your dad died, there were times that you had to be out for your dad. What was going on there?
Before my father passed, he suffered from congestive heart failure for over 18 months.
All right. And would you be the only one to assist with your dad when he had illnesses like that?
No.
Who else in your family was assisting?
My sister Cindy helped out a lot. She ended up losing her job. And at other times, I had family members that could help.
All right. So you were trying to take steps where you weren't the only one there with your dad.
Right.
Okay. And then now, tell us about lupus. What is the situation with lupus?
Lupus has chronic migraine disorders. As late second level that the doctor said to the school. It was not notarized.
All right. Now, when did y'all first get that diagnosed?
it was in that, we're still working on it.
Okay, so it would have been this school year that they finally found out what the problem was?
Yes, we're still trying to find the figures.
Okay, and is he on medication now?
Yes.
How many times has his medication been changed? All right, so who would take Lucas to the doctors?
Most of my wife, when she could, but if not, my son Patrick, he was off the pipeline and he's taking the doctor's appointments or having picked him up from school.
And where have you had to go to take him to doctor's appointments?
I've been as far as children's.
Has he been to neurologist?
That is one of our next steps.
Okay, all right. And when Lucas has these migraines, what are his symptoms?
He has a bad headache, just hard to stand light. Sometimes they get to the point where they'll throw up.
All right. How long do they last?
Sometimes they'll last about all day long.
All right. Okay. And so the letter to the doctor was given to the elementary school?
Yes, ma'am.
What grade is he in?
He's in the fifth grade.
And did y'all work with the principal to try and get his work done and things like that for last year?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Jerry, your dad died in,
October 16th.
all right, and so if we look at the number of absences you had before your dad died, and we look at this same chart, the first one I see is August 31st, and then September 1st, then September 9th, so that's 3 in September, September 29th, and September 30th. So you had 5 days in September with your dad. And then you had no more absences as far as your dad's health because he then died October 17th. Now, why were you out almost a week for your father's death?
My mother, she's elderly also, and they were not very organized on insurance, where they put stuff, and that was definitely something that was time consuming.
All right. Did you talk with Mr. Bennett about being out for your dad's death?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you contact him?
By phone.
And what did you say?
She told me my father had passed, and I was going to be out.
All right. Did you say how many days you were going to be out?
But
Okay.
I called him every day.
Okay. Did he ask how many days? Now, at the time you first called him, did you know how many days you were going to be out?
No.
Why didn't somebody else from your family assist with this?
That's just one of the things, some of them did.
Okay. And is your mom in good health?
Yes.
What does she have?
Rheumatoid arthritis, stuff like that.
All right.
Heart problems.
Had arrangements even been made for your father's funeral? So you had to do all that too?
Yes.
Now, you get back from your dad's funeral and helping your mom and your other family members pitching in, and does anyone from the school district talk to you about the fact that you missed this many days of school?
Yes, I believe it's Mr. Clement
Okay, and where did y'all talk?
in his office.
What do you remember he said and you said?
Well, he said, how are we going to fix this problem? And I said, well, my dad has died. He wants to miss any more for him. So my wife is seeking a different job in Denver, FedEx. And my son Patrick came home somewhere around November, and he was able to help out with this. But at this point, I have to miss that.
All right. Did he say anything else to you?
That I can think of.
Did he say, well, you're not preparing lesson plans, anything like that?
No, I've always done a good job.
Okay, and say anything, well, maybe you need to take family medical leave out, anything like that? So you told him the steps you were taking to try and prove this?
Right.
And he didn't say that was inadequate, did he? All right, now, what was the next time? Now, that was in October 25th. And then if we look at the chart there, you missed October 26th, and it says a doctor's appointment. What doctor's appointment was that?
Dr. Browner.
Who is that?
Your nursing pro specialist in Mason.
Okay, is that for your surgery?
Yes.
Post-surgery?
Right.
Okay. And then you missed the next day for Lucas in October.
Yes.
And then we looked at November where Lucas is sick 2 days in a row, and then you get strep 1 week.
Yes.
How do you know you had strep?
I went to Medicaid. Diagnosed it.
All right.
And I had returned to it.
Now, did you contact Mr. Bennett when you discovered you had strep?
Yes.
What did you tell him?
I told him I had strep throat.
And what did you tell him at that point? Did you anticipate missing any days?
Yes, I told him that, well, actually, we didn't have to come back on the 14th. It was your day or something like that. 14 minutes out. It was all, my note was all the way to the 14th.
Oh, okay. And did you talk to him about the note?
Yeah, I told him I wouldn't go back until Tuesday.
Okay. And did you tell him you actually had a note from the doctor?
I don't remember telling him that.
Okay. Did he ask you for one?
Mm-hmm.
But he knew at that point in time that you were going to be out those days. All right. Now, at what point in time did you get a letter from Mr. Bennett?
I received that November 29th.
Okay, if we look at the very first tab, number 1, under the booklet of exhibits, is this the letter you got from
Yes.
Mr. Bennett? And you say you received it on November 29th?
Yes, I wrote it there, yes.
Did you write that there on the date that you received it? Now, did you and Mr. Bennett have a discussion about this letter before he gave it to you?
He said he really didn't want to do it. So it came down from above. And that's about it.
Now, at that time, did you discuss with him the steps you had taken to try and prevent the absences? What did you tell him?
Same thing.
Which is, your son was back,
Yeah.
and at that point, was your wife, was she trying to change her job?
Yes, she has changed.
But at that time in November, had she
No,
changed?
not really.
When did her job finally change?
I think it was December.
Okay.
I'm not for sure.
So has she taken Lucas to the doctor and handled that some in the second semester?
Yes, ma'am.
So these times back on tab number 14, page 3, where you may have been out for Lucas January 4th, would that be when your son or she could not have been out with him?
Yes.
So from the time you received the letter on November the 29th, you missed 1 day in December, 1 day in January, and 3 days in February. During any of that time period, did Mr. Bennett or Mr. Trammell talk with you about your absences?
Not that I can recall.
All right. And what did you think at that time? What did you think was going on in relation to your job and whether you were performing as was expected?
After receiving that letter, I was kind of suspicious that maybe they were trying to get rid of it.
Well, yeah, they say, look, if you miss too many days, you might be non-renewed. What I'm asking is, you've gotten the letter, you've now missed some days, but not many at all. 1 in December, 1 in January, and 3 non-consecutive days in February. At that point in time, what are you thinking in relation to you're doing what they've asked you to do?
I thought I was doing a lot better than that.
mention it to?
Mr. Bennett and Mr. Cromwell, office.
When was that?
That was when I received the letter